Hey guys, so this is going to be a rant about Dig versus Tempo Storm, and as you have seen in the title, it's also about the NA LuL meme, basically. So everybody in the Heroes esports scene that is following it knows that NA hasn't been doing very well since BlizzCon 2015, where they won, but against a much weaker region in Korea, where Korea didn't, I think, have all of their team players and everything. And in the end, like for basically 3 or 4 years now, NA hasn't been very good. They have been very bad at some point as well, where they literally got beaten by ANZ teams and stuff like that. But they gotten better again. I think HHE is really doing very well in terms of getting better and trying to improve every offline event. But then you have Tempo Storm, who obviously have lost Sam recently, so they replaced him with Vin, and their confidence level in videos and everything was always like, oh yeah, we're very good, we're one of the best teams in NA, we're the best team in NA, and so on. And then they present us with this draft, and this is just like not okay. Like I feel like this is not okay to draft in an HGC final at BlizzCon. So I've seen a lot of people say like, well, you know, they couldn't beat Dignitas, they couldn't go just with normal drafts, they would have lost anyway, so they thought they had a better chance to just win by drafting something cheesy. And I'm not against cheesy drafts at all. Like, I think cheesy drafts are really good, and they can help you win against a team that you normally can't beat. But this draft is, first of all, super bad. Second of all, there seems to be no, like, preparation gone into this. And then third of all, we've seen good cheese drafts on certain maps and objectives because they work and you can see the logic behind it. When I look at the draft of Tempo Storm, I don't see any logic behind this because this is just like crap. This is just, honestly, like, this is embarrassing. And I thought really that when this match was announced, like, we have two EU teams versus NA teams coming up in the semifinals, or sorry, quarterfinals, that it would be really cool. Like, would be really awesome to see those two regions clash, because basically NA and EU are on the same strength level for many people, and like having one team or the other team win is what's needed basically to decide who's the better team, right? So if you're looking at Master League here, before I go into this draft fully, I want to say that there's people saying like, oh, Tempo Storm said afterwards that they had like great results in scrims and like they did it, and Poik said like they talked to them afterwards, and Tempo Storm said like, yeah, normally they were very good at it, and Dignitas themselves said like they were prepared for cheeses anyway. So I want to take away the notion that Tempo Storm went into this trying to win, because I don't see that happening. I don't think that they were trying to win. So let's have a quick look at the draft screen for the maps. This is after the game already, so Dignitas won this map. So now we can see which maps were banned and which were picked, right? So Dignitas banned Brax's Holdout here over here because it's a very well-known NA map. NA plays very well in this map, so that makes a lot of sense to ban this. And then Tempo Storm banned Tomb of the Spider Queen because EU teams have been excellent on this map. Like, they have taken maps of Koreans for years and years now. So on this map, they can be very, very good on this map. So it makes sense. But then the pick for this first map went to Tempo Storm, and they pick Volskaya Foundry. Volskaya Foundry, in my opinion, is not a map that you can cheese. Like, it's just not happening. The first map objective is in the middle of the map, so both the top lane and the bottom lane are easily accessible. So even if you cheese something in one of those lanes, the team that is on the spot can just easily react to it. You can also just like have one person on that spot and still get progress with the objective, while the other 4 people defend or clear or whatever they do against the cheese. So I like Sky Temple, and I know that, for example, Roll20 against Tricked banned Sky Temple and chose Towers of Doom to play against Tricked because they didn't want to get cheesed. So Towers of Doom, I think, is also a good map to be cheesing on, because there's obviously not that much XP gained out of the objectives. Basically 0, because you don't get anything from shooting on the enemy keep. Or fort. Sorry, 4. That's the word. But there's opportunities because you can go into late game. It's very, very reasonable to think that even if you play bad or if your composition doesn't scale early game very well, you can get into late game by just trying to be on the same level with life. You just take an altar, you take good trades, it works. Sky Temple is a great map for cheese because the earliest objective at 3 minutes is 2 temples, 1 top, 1 mid. And the bottom lane is far, far away. So you can easily either just take one of those 2 temples and contest the other one, or cheese something on the bottom. If you remember correctly, like, or if you go back in time, Team Liquid back then, already with Hazuops and a couple of other people, they were playing against Korea, and I can't exactly remember what clash it was, but it has to be like some sort of like international clash, maybe in China. I can't really remember, but I just know that the Juice Pirates were played against MVP Black back then, which now is Genji. So the Juice Pirates basically was Sky Temple. You play some comp with the most important part was Rainer, Tyrael, and Medic, Lieutenant Morales. And the goal was you take down Fort Bottom very quickly, and then from level 10 on, you fly into Keep, go kill the Keep with Rainer, Tyrael, Sanctification, Hyperion, and the Medivac, and then you go into Core. And the goal is to get Core to, like, I think 70% was the amount of damage you had to do, to then, with the second Medivac, fly directly on Core, do the same combo again, Sanctification, Hyperion, and then just do damage to the Core and you win. So the goal of this cheese was you avoid team fighting, you take out one fort, you go for Keep, the enemy team can do very little against that, and then you just go Core, and again the enemy team has to be like super good at doing this. And Liquid executed it okay, they executed it poorly twice, but the idea and the reason behind the cheese was very well clear, and it was also obvious what they wanted to do. And MVP Black just reacted well, defended it, and then they won by just, you know, defending the cheese. What Tempo Storm is playing here is just like there's no way that this draft works on Volskaya ever. Like I don't see how it happens unless you're playing against other teams that are much worse than you. Because we will see it, we will jump into the replay, but it's just not working. So why not pick Sky Temple? Like, I don't understand. Like, Sky Temple with the composition they picked, for me, makes a lot of sense. You can contest one of the temples with Cheese, Zamuro, Falsat, Abathur, pushing whoever is on the temple, if they're not the full team. And then you have Falsat can clear, like, lanes far away from the temples. Or you can have Abathur pushing or whatever. Like, there's a lot of things that you can do. But why not pick Sky Temple? Why pick Volskaya? One of the reasons, I think, is that they thought, hey, if we pick a normal standard map, then Dignitas will not know that we're cheesing them. Which, I don't know. For me, that doesn't make it better to pick this map. Because we go now to Master Leagues and talk about Dignitas' stats. And Volskaya Foundry is the 4th most played map, and it's only 1, 2, and 3 maps behind the other maps. Like, they played basically these 4 maps all season long with this lineup. Shrines, Shire, Tumos, Green, Volskaya Foundry. These are the 4 maps that are always played in HGC EU. And they have an 83% win rate on this map. It's not that it's the worst map that they're playing. Like, they played it the most, or with one of the most maps played in the season, and they have a above 80% win rate on it. Look at Sky Temple. They only played it 14 times, which means they have probably as experience. I mean, we obviously don't know, you know, how many scrims results they have, but like, this is the insight that you can have publicly. So they clearly didn't play it often. Their win rate isn't that great. I mean, it's still obviously amazing. You know, they have a 77% win rate, so they're above their average win rate. The only time that they lose more is Battlefield of Eternity, which also is a great cheese map. And they also only played 21 times. So I don't understand, like, anybody who's defending Tempo Storm saying, like, well, you know, it could have worked or it works in scrims, just look at these statistics and tell me that it's a wise choice to pick Volskaya Foundry. It doesn't make any sense to me. Okay. We're gonna go through this rather quickly. I don't want to show this match fully because, well, it's only 50 minutes anyway, but I just want to, like, I don't understand what's happening with this. So if you didn't pay attention, they drafted Zamuro, Junkrat, Falsat, Murky, and Abathur. So they don't have a healer, they don't have a tank, and they don't have a solo laner. So what I did, and I also don't know what the plan was. So Zamuro compositions, normally what they do is they take buildings So the Zamuro with the Abathur head just takes towers. So then you early game, you get a lot of XP from the towers and the building damage, basically. How you do this is basically use the mirror images of Zamuro, let them tank the damage from the towers, and then you take the tower, and then you go to the fort or the well or whatever helps you win the most. And then you go on and take it from the keep. And then if you're level 10 already, you can try to get keep. Or if you haven't been successful earlier, you can take fort with this Abathur clone on Zamuro. So you have like basically 6 Zamuros running around. Murky has good wave clear, so he can be clearing waves very quickly and safely. But other than that, he doesn't bring anything to this tactic. Like, he's not a great siege hero anymore. Like, for a long time he hasn't been. Junkrat has good damage early game, so I understand why he's there. He doesn't necessarily need to scale that much. So he's a good pick now, in my opinion. And then Falset makes sense. You have somebody who soaks XP. But he's very weak early game. He doesn't have a lot of damage. He's super squishy, and there's a reason that he's not played a lot by anybody. And then let's have a quick pause again here, because I want to show you also the full draft of this. So they also ban on Tempo Storm side Genji, Maiev, and Zeratul. And I understand all these 3 bans, they're all like on heroes that are really good. But look at what Ignis is banning. Johanna, Garrosh. Garrosh obviously strong and highly contested, but they basically can pick heroes that, or they can ban heroes that are good against what they are picking. Like Garrosh and Johanna both are great against Diablo. And obviously Garrosh is just great in general against anybody. And then they remove Medivh because they know that Glorong plays a great Medivh. So on the side of Tempo Storm, they just only ban meta heroes. Like, I understand the Zeratul is really good against the Zamuro cheese and everything, but like, for example, Maiev and Genji, I don't think that they are very good against the cheese. Maiev obviously has some advantages with the mirror images, but like, you're basically just removing standard meta heroes that are good against a normal composition. But you're also giving Dignitas the best healer currently in the game for professional gaming, which is Tyrande. Then you have Irel, which is the best solo laner, who doesn't get pressured by anybody. Like, nobody pressures Irel. Like, she has self-heal, she has the pushback, so you can't really gank her with what you have here. Like, even if you have Zamuro with the hat, she doesn't care. She heals off of the mirror images, and that's it. You have a great tank. I mean, no tank is bad in the hands of JPL, so that doesn't really matter. And then they have Raynor and Phoenix, which they could also have Vala and, I don't know, Thrall or whatever. It doesn't really matter. Like, the assassins are not my problem, but you're basically giving them a trifecta of heroes that are just so good. Like, Diablo, Deckard, and Irel was one of the triplets that was always picked by some teams, and they would never lose. And then obviously now that Deckard has fallen out of the meta a little bit, well, he hasn't fallen out, but like Tyrannus is stronger in this patch. They just give them all of that. Like, I don't understand what the use of these bans is against what they're trying to play, and what the result of the Dignitas draft is. Like, this is a perfect draft. Like, you couldn't give Dignitas better heroes. There's no way. Like, sure, you can say like, well, Genji for Snitch is like amazing. Sure, but he still destroys them with Phoenix in this game. So this is what I don't understand. Like, the draft doesn't make any sense. Then they just get like picked off early game so much. And again, Volskaya for me doesn't make any sense. What do you do in Volskaya? The first minute you take this camp, so both teams did that. But then the next focus is on the healing camp, because this allows you to be more aggressive on the points because you have another heal. Tempo Storm can't even fight for these objectives. Like, they can't go here and fight, not without a healer and with very little damage. Like, honestly, Junkrat, Fawcett, again, they're good damage healers, but they're not going to threaten this lineup of Dignitas. That's what I don't understand. Like, Volskaya is such a horrible map for what they're drafting. Sure, they get like this camp here and they get a little bit of pressure, but look at what they're getting so far. A little bit of damage here on the blue tower here. There's no damage mid, and there's not even a tower damage that is like interesting here. Now they're cutting minions here, which I don't understand. Like, this is something that you've done in the past when ammo was still a thing, because now you guarantee that the minion wave walks into the tower. which is even better for Dignitas because they don't have to expose themselves against the lineup. So now Tempo Storm can't do anything here, like they can't contest this. These mines are kind of cute because you might get somebody low, but who's going to follow up on this? There's no engage, like there's nobody who can jump on things. Samuro doesn't want to fight, he wants to do some other things, like destroying walls and whatever. What do they care? And look at this, Dignitas just can be with 3 players here because Murky is no threat, Junkrat is no threat against these 3. Abathur doesn't come out online until level 10. And then Zamuro and False are just flying around and doing nothing. Like, what, like, I don't understand what this should be doing. And again, I'm just like, I'm angry about this because I was really looking forward to seeing great games from these teams. Like, I was really like, hey, maybe we can see some cool NA team compositions. Like, I love the idea of the Zool thing. I mean, I made a little bit of fun of it because it's like, I feel like there's better tanks, but it at least makes sense. Like, I can see, hey, you have two supporters, which is great, because everybody loved having 2 supporters, but now they're just too weak to do normal 2 support things. So I understand that you add by removing something. You remove the tank, but you add 2 supports with it. Makes perfect sense. But now look at this. Zamuro is defending with this, but who knows why? Like, there's no way with these heroes that you have here that you're gonna kill the tree glove very quickly. Just let Falset and Junkrat poke on things, and instead, like, contest the Phoenix who's alone up here, and you get XP. You're already a level behind. I don't understand. Like, this is just like, and then obviously these are like bad luck things where you also you play worse than the enemy, and you then also just have some unlucky moments. So now Glorung is up here, and why is he up here now? Because like, this is the most risky time where you can be up here, because they just killed this, and if they didn't go for the camp here, they just come up here and kill him. Like, for me, if you look at the map and how things are going, like, they now fly in, this is not what they want to do. Like, they don't want a team fight here. Like, sure, it would be cool to get the souls of Diablo, awesome, but they just reached level 10 as well, and they have vision. Like, they know there's nobody here, they know that IRL is here, so they have to know that everybody is coming to fight this. So like, why would you go in here? You don't even want a team fight. You want to like cheese things. You want to get buildings. You know where you want to push? Here. You know where you want to push? Here, maybe. But you can't even push because they have IRL. Like, I don't understand this. Like, this, you can't tell me that even if Dignitas has better players on every position, like mechanically and from game knowledge perspective and whatever, that this would have looked the same way if Tempo Storm drafted a normal draft. They can't even delay the capture. Like, it's 6 minutes into the game, and the tree glove is not only done, but it's already like spawning soon again. And look at this, Glorung just has to run away all the time. Like, he can't go onto buildings against IRL. She doesn't even do that much damage, but like, she just out-sustains everybody. They also steal the camp after Murky tries to invade it with Bribe, which I don't know what's going on with that. And then look at the damage they've done. They've taken out not even one tower. There's one tower down here now, finally, and there's one tower down here. So they took 3 towers in 7 minutes. You can't tell me, if you're serious, that a normal draft from Tempo Storm would have not been able to do the same thing. It's just not possible that you can tell me that. And like, again, he's trying to do more tower damage here, and look how Ubi just like, he's not bothered at all. It's probably one of the worst solo laners that you could have given Dignitas to do this and then constantly fight into this. And you can't push top because that's where the next objective is, and you don't want to be here necessarily because that's where Dignitas is going to be. So you only have bottom, and that's where the solo laner always is on this map, always. And then we see, like, this is the only kill I think they get in this game. with what every Zamuro player, and I'm not gonna say that I know better, I know exactly what's going on with the Zamuro, but everybody says that Bladestorm is the worst heroic in the game right now because it doesn't do a lot of damage. It shows you exactly which Zamuro is the real one. It gives you unstoppable. That's the only positive thing, and you don't get value from the mirror images that you're buffing up with all the other talents. So that's a weird choice. I mean, maybe it's a misclick, could be. But then you also have Octograb, but the only follow-up is basically the Riptire. So Tyrande took Calorie Resistance on level 1. So even if you Octograb anybody else but Tyrande, that person is going to be 20% spell power reduction, and the Octo thingy and this Riptire will not do anything. Like, it's the perfect healer against it as well. Like, the burst combo doesn't work because they just can wait for the combo to come out and then just use the Q spell twice. I just don't like. They're gonna lose keep before 10 minutes now. You can't tell me that a normal draft, Dignitas would have destroyed them that much. Like if you're so sure that in a normal draft you can't play like this, where you're 2 levels behind after the first 2 objectives, what are you doing at BlizzCon? Like, people say like, oh well, they should not invite the minor regions to BlizzCon. It's like a waste of competitive space. They should have just more NA teams. Is that really the case? If we're seeing these things, like we all said throughout the year that the competition is getting better, people are getting better at the game, teams are screwing better and doing better things. And what are we seeing here is just like ridiculous. Now Falzat gets caught out alone because he's the only one defending the keep. Junkrat is now here. Zamuro still again trying to do anything, but he's getting killed by the RL. He also has 2 catapults here now, or a full catapult lane here. So he can't even easily push this because the catapults always destroy all of his minions. At this point, obviously everything has failed and there's no way that they can win this and come back here. So obviously now it looks even worse. But if you look at their progress, they took towers here, took towers here, and took towers here. That's their progress. 12 minutes in. There's no way that they can win an objective. There's no way that they can defend the tree glove very easily. And this is one of my favorite moments now. So look at this. They're all here, and they're going for the well. They don't even get the fort. The only way that they would get level 16 early enough, or do at least significant damage so that they can go further with their weird tactic. And again, somebody dies. I also don't know, but like, what is the use of Murky? Because like, to me, this is just a meme pick. Like, they pick Murky because haha, it's fun to pick Murky, and we don't win anyway, so we're gonna just pick Murky and do whatever. Like, what does he add to the strategy? Like, is the strategy we're gonna outpush them by having Zamuro memes, and then when they teamfight we're gonna Octograb somebody and blow them up with Riptire? Is that what's gonna happen? Like, I just, for me, this was so disappointing. When I saw this game and I was like, why? Like, when I first saw the tweets about Murky being played, I was like, awesome. Somebody has a cool like late game composition on Towers of Doom. Murky level 20 is like really, really scary. But it's like this, what is this? What am I seeing? Like, look at this. His image is not even coming with him because he can't control them. Dignitas is going core, and they get 1 tower. Like, I don't know. And then people say like, well, you know, NA LuL doesn't exist anymore. People are you know, much better now. And we shouldn't say NA LuL because people are actually like, you know, trying and everything. Look at this. Like, what is? How do you think this will work? Like, I really want to see, like, because again, Tempo Storm, and obviously that's only allegedly because other people said it, said that they won a fair share of games with this draft in scrims. Like, against who? Who did you scrim this? And these people didn't get to win on Volskaya. Or did you scrim it on a different map? Like, if you scrimmed this on Sky Temple, awesome. Like, that's where it wins. Maybe even on Brexit, when you have like, sorry, on Brexit, when you have like the first fort down or something. I don't know, but like, this for me doesn't make any sense, and it was really, really, really disappointing. Like, this is BlizzCon. This is where the best of the best should come together and play. And if you had seen this in the group stages, like if Tempo Storm had played this against the Korean guys in their group, sure, try it in the group stage where every map counts. But this is like 4 points. But this is like the quarterfinals, best of 3. This is what you go in and think that you can win it. Again, if you have a cool cheese that makes sense, where I can as a viewer see, okay, they want to do this and this and this, and it just didn't work. Nothing worked in this game. Like, look at the deaths. They had 1 kill on Phoenix in 14 minutes. They killed 1 fort. You want to tell me that you can't, with a normal lineup on Volskaya, do the same damage? You were so sure that you wouldn't be able to do this at least as well as you did here with a normal lineup? Get out of here. See you next time.